You are listening to the Mark Guzman Podcast Experience. My guest today is a great buddy of mine. We get to talk about Autodesk and technology advancements, and we talk a little bit about sports. So, welcome, Jorge. You and I have been buddies now for
About
6 years.
Yeah, about
Really?
6 years. Yeah, best man at my wedding.
Yeah, I was the best man. That was a great wedding too. A lot
Yeah.
of fun. And that was in San Francisco
Yes, sir.
at the Warwick, right? Or the
Nah,
reception.
The reception was at. I forgot. It's the hotel right across the street from the Orpheum Theater, right there on Market. I can't think of the top of my head right now.
Yeah, isn't that the Warwick?
Nah. Google this now.
Okay.
We're off to a good start.
All right. So yeah, let's see. We met. Yeah, it must have been 2010 or 11 when we met.
Yeah.
And then we were actually roommates
Mm-hmm.
when we were living in Hercules, and that was 2000. If I remember correctly, 2012 to 14, maybe. Was it a couple years?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun time too.
Man, it was good times, man. Like, we were both going through a lot in our lives, so it was just cool. Like,
Big changes.
yeah, and we had like that connection, obviously culturally.
Yep.
Salvadorian fathers, Guatemalan mothers. So it's like,
Yeah, that was trippy when I found out. It was like brother from another mother.
and then your mom's maiden name is my last name.
Yep.
We still think that we're related somehow.
Yeah.
Good thing no incest ever happened.
What?
Good thing no incest ever happened.
So you work we're gonna change this completely.
I warned you.
Yeah.
I warned you.
Barely 5 minutes.
You knew sooner or later.
5 minutes in and he brings up a no topic. Okay, so oh man, this is gonna be a good episode. So you currently work at Autodesk,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
So why don't you explain a little bit of what you do there
Okay.
and what Autodesk is? Because I know I mentioned Autodesk to a lot of people and they have no clue what it is.
All right. Well, I've been there now. I just hit my 10-year anniversary with the company.
Oh, congrats.
That was actually a big deal for me. Just personally, just kind of getting that feeling of just like, I've been somewhere for a long time, put in the work, getting the rewards and the benefits of it. It's a good feeling. Autodesk as a company, we specialize in architectural software. So people, they're not necessarily within the real estate business, but maybe in the contractor business, who you guys sometimes
Engineers and architects.
And then when I first started, we had just made a huge acquisition in the animation, computer animation field, which was Maya products. So if you know people who are like graphic designers or into the computer animation, that was probably at that time a huge acquisition.
Is that software that companies like Pixar uses?
A lot of companies use it. Yeah.
Okay.
If you just any commercials that if you see special effects, they're probably using Maya. Maya's a huge special effects software. I know the Avatar that James Cameron had. I want to say, God, when Avatar came out, like 06
Did
or 7.
AutoCAD raise the bar?
09.
09 was Avatar. Okay, so 09 was Avatar. So Cameron at our huge convention that we always have every year in Vegas, he put us out. And that was like a huge deal. So just in general, the company specializes in the software mostly for the architects and engineers, like you were saying. But then we also have Maya, which is a huge product, and then we've made some other side acquisitions the last few years.
And as a company, like employers are really good, right?
Oh yeah, I can only speak for myself, but I love working there. Like, I'm
Okay,
proud of
well,
working
I remember when we were roommates, you literally had, I think, 6 weeks or 8 weeks off because of a sabbatical, right?
there. Yeah, 6 weeks paid vacation. So when you accumulate 4 years as a full-time employee, that's not including like if you spend time as an intern or temp. So it's full-time employee. When you hit the 4 years, you accumulate a 6-week paid vacation, and it's 6 weeks all at once. You can't break it up. It's all 6 weeks at once. When we were roommates, I took one, and that was in 2012, and I've qualified for my last one more than a year ago, and I've just been holding on to it. And me and my wife actually had a couple of vacations planned, and I should already put it out there. My wife and I are actually in a few weeks are expecting a daughter.
Congratulations.
So the timing of it actually kind of works out. My wife just went on her break from. She's a teacher. She's in education, so she took the semester off. She doesn't come back to work till January, so I'm gonna hold on to that sabbatical till about November. We do have a family trip. We're actually gonna bring our daughter with us because we have to. Vacation was already paid for before.
Where are you guys going?
Disney World for a week. We're actually gonna spend Thanksgiving there, and a couple of people in her family are coming too. So we'll have help, which is
You're going for how long?
A full week. Disney
Full
World.
week?
I never been, so I'm excited about that. Yeah.
I've spoken to a lot of people that have gone to Disney World,
Yeah.
and they say you need a solid 2 weeks to see everything there because it's so big.
It's so
I mean,
big,
they
yeah.
said Epcot Center is like at least 5 days right there.
Man.
Are you guys staying in the safari park?
No, we're staying at the Swan and Dolphin, which is a Disney resort. I think it's in between the Hollywood studio and I want to say Epcot. I think it's like in between. We can kind of like venture in between. So, but yeah, I'm taking that 6-week vacation as part of that. So it was actually cool that I held on to it. And then obviously I get the California State family leave, and I'll take that probably sometime in February.
So you get that sabbatical from Autodesk every
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And if you don't use it, can you double it up to where you have like 12 years?
Nah,
or?
it's no. HR is pretty. There, you'll get an email from I hear. You get an email, probably year and a half to 2 years you haven't used it. You'll get like a little friendly reminder email from HR, like hey, you want to take this to get off their books.
Yeah.
So, but I pretty much had it planned right about when we planned this vacation, which is almost about a year ago, like today. And then around January, we found out that we're expecting. So the timing of it kind of worked out, at least I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Autodesk is a neat company with the benefits and, vacations and that sort of thing. I remember I use AutoCAD. Well, Autodesk is a great company. I think I always mix up the two, Autodesk and AutoCAD, because I used to use AutoCAD all the time.
Yeah.
And that's their main product.
It's our pet product. It's our baby product. We've had from the invention of the company in the mid '80s.
Yeah.
That was a product that really just launched them into getting the advancement of architectural design.
So how did you get a job at Autodesk?
Man, long story short, I was in the retail game really all the way until 2005. And I was doing assistant managing at some of the well-known
Foot Locker, right?
Yeah, Foot Locker. I was gonna say a shoe company, but yeah, Foot Locker. So saw, I think it was an ad. Can't remember. I want to say it was Monster. Was it Monster that used to do the Monster jobs?
Monster.com?
Yeah, what was it? Yahoo had the Yahoo jobs. I saw an ad.
Yeah, there was Monster Jobs too.
Yeah, I think that might have been the one. It was obviously it's been now almost 11 years. I saw
it might still be around too.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I know a lot. There's so many now sites now, but talking about mid 2000s, I just saw an ad because I was kind of thinking, all right, gotta make a step up somewhere in my career. Saw an ad. It's a temp job, and sent my resume. I had some customer service experience, which in my job, just experience in talking to what I do. When I started was talking to customers. Then I moved up to people who actually buy our products, resellers we call them.
Okay.
So those are the people who.
And that's what you do now.
Yeah, I am basically an escalations rep from our biggest distributor who buys from us and sells back to the customer. So they're an authorized company. They're kind of like our the third person in the sales department. So I work with sales to make sure they get what they want. I make sure that the customer gets what they want. And sometimes I have to work with finance to make sure quotes and orders and all that are good to go. So full day. Been doing that role for about 3 years now, with a company in that department, over 10 now.
So I assume you love it. You love working there.
I love it. I love working there. The company's been good to me. Obviously, the benefits are great. Even like the little things. Like, do you remember me, you, and our buddy Tony? We went to a random party the company threw in the city, in our city building.
Oh yeah. I had pictures from that. That was
another great benefit. The first Thursday of the month, they will look for. I think that one was this a design.
Yeah, it was a design where they had up and coming artists, architects, engineers that were using AutoCAD or Maya products that, and they were designing like new things. So there were like car concepts there,
Yeah.
models. I think there were
The new bridge that was being still in the works. The
That
new Bay
was there.
Bridge was still in the works at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a while ago. But yeah, like little things like that. The company is very big on just attracting people to see, oh, what does this company do? Throw a party. Like I think it was catered and open bar, like, just kind of like your basic drinks and beer. Like it was just really chill environment. We were in the city
that was over
office.
on Market Street. I
Yeah, it's
remember
right there.
that.
It's on one market. It's in the Landmark building, the big Landmark building. That's still there. But I'm in the Marin office. We used to be headquarters.
Now, didn't they just open up or build a new office in San
They
Francisco?
built two, probably.
Okay.
There's one kind of on the pier. I think
My dad did the
yeah,
lights.
that's right. Your dad helped set up like the kind of like the wiring, the lighting, and
Well,
the fixtures.
what he
right?
what he does is his company lighting systems. They basically connect contractors with actual manufacturers of lights.
All right.
They put all the orders together and get them delivered. Like they did AT&T Park.
Okay. Yeah.
They did Facebook's building, Twitter,
Probably the new Salesforce
Autodesk.
building, too,
They
now.
do like big projects.
Yeah, I mean that Salesforce building's biggest building in the city now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the company's just really big on customer first, and we had a lot of transitions. Obviously, we had the market kind of hit a low in the 08, 09,
Yep.
2010, and just kind of and still being part of that, and was lucky enough to survive it and go through peaks and valleys of that company. And now
They had a few layoffs back then, right?
who didn't?
Yeah.
Everyone kind of did, and just kind of going through the peaks and valleys of the company, and now where we're at now, we're hitting our stride. It's been great. It's really been fun, and it's definitely not the field that I thought I would be in. Like I even have an idea at 25, but now here I am, 36, first child on the way, and I really feel like I'm feeling good, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
life's good.
Now, can you talk about some of the up and coming products, services that they have? I know they're gearing more toward online cloud services, right?
Online cloud services, but the big project we just aren't, I won't say we're completing, but my department was a huge part of it, was to transitioning from perpetual licensing, which is basically you license the software and you use it year after year after year, and now it's all subscription based, kind of like
Microsoft Office did the exact same
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
You would buy Office for like $400 or $500, but now it's $99
Yeah,
per
so
year,
that-
and it's
that-
subscription.
That transition we went through, it's been about 6 months in the making of just getting the customers in. But I'm sure like all the big wigs and sales and finance, like how is this going to happen to get customers who are used to having what we call perpetual, or some people may say a maintenance based product, and now it's subscription based. You got 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. If you're yearly, just like Netflix or your iTunes or whatever, 1 year, boom, and you just re up. It's amazing. Like you don't think of it as
That was a big game changer for Autodesk
huge game
because
changer.
all of a sudden sales went up, right? When they made that move.
Well, it's not necessarily even sales. It's more of just how many subscribe. Like it's all about the subscribers. Kind of like any subscription based company. Whether it's Microsoft, like we were saying, Microsoft or whoever. The amount of subscribers is what you want to strive for. How are you gonna get them to come back to re up? But as long as you're getting subscribers, that's the name of the game. That's pretty much what every company's doing right now, right? Like you want subscribers. You need them to keep company and gain more.
So what are they doing now that's fresh, new, something technology?
As far as product wise,
Technology.
Product wise, it's just some of the acquisitions we've had, but I haven't had anything big probably in about a year. We had an acquisition from a European based company. Actually, I'm not even sure what type of product it is, but I just know it's called Delcam. I think it's still in that engineering base, but it was a European. I think it's a UK based company, because when we went out to Barcelona to play soccer, we played against the Delcam team. I was like, oh, these are the guys who are probably selling it.
Okay, now that you mentioned that, we have to talk about this.
one amazing thing that Autodesk does is their own World Cup. So
Every
explain.
year, not every 4 years like the normal ones. This is every year.
Yeah. So number one, you're on the soccer team for Team USA.
Well, it's not just Team USA. It's actually
Based on headquarters?
even more specific. Our department. So we have like what we call global customer service and operations. That's my department. Within the department, we have branches: customer service, partner services, pricing, all that, technical support. All those are based off the customers. So our VP, who I think you met or you saw her at our softball tournament, she, so a couple of guys gave her the pitch, the budget, and said, we want to put together a team, because our U.S. team had their team, and it was the same group of guys every year that go. And finance then put together a team. So we're like, well, what about the customer based team? She said, okay, put together a team, but the stipulation is, the U.S. region has to be represented. Our EMEA, which is Europe and Middle Eastern region, has to be represented. So employees from all over the world have to be represented, and our Asia Pacific Islander. So that was even kind of cool to just not know who are we picking up. Send emails like, hey, does so and so play soccer? Does so and so play? And then we put together a team. She approved it. And then one other stipulation. She goes, you guys got to win. Because one thing you've kind of seen at some of my company's sporting events is there's a high level of competition. We're all in the same company. We're all, together in one family, but there's competition. And she said, she's our
You definitely don't want to make a mistake if you're on a team.
I mean, she's our department VP. She wants to win, and she wants, make sure that she's approving a budget that's worth it. And so she put together this team that's all off of the global customer services department. And 7 of us were based in San Rafael. We played in our city league. We did all right. We had a couple of guys from the Munich office, who are, I think, they're their installation licensing department, and then a couple of guys in our Singapore office. So obviously, coming to in Barcelona, which was this past June, was the tournament.
And how long did you go for?
I went for a week. Luckily, my department has an office in Barcelona, so I was able to work and do my regular work that I would do in San Rafael. But on top of that, that department in Barcelona, that office in Barcelona is fairly new. A lot of those employees that haven't even been there a year. So to have someone who's at that time almost at 10 years with the department to kind of just train and kind of show what we do in the U.S. was kind of really cool experience. Got to meet a lot of people, and just the team in general. We got to that tournament.
Was the entire tournament in Barcelona, or do they spread it around?
No, it was in Barcelona. It was at the university, which was gorgeous university. It kind of reminded me a little bit of UC Berkeley, because it's a downtown university. So it was a really cool experience. You take the train or the tram right there, and you just walk up, boom, you just see this huge buildings, and you have a field to the side, and they have like 3 fields, and family, everyone comes all over the world, because we have tons of offices in Europe, all different departments. We had like Italy and like the Delcam team in the UK and finance from all over the world. It was an amazing experience. 24 teams, and we were able to hit the quarterfinals. So our VP was happy about that. So I think we got funding for
next year.
For next year, they announced next year already, south of France. So that'll be a cool experience. So south of France is kind of towards the Riviera side. So,
yep.
I've never been in Europe. I've been told that trip.
Isn't that where Nice is?
Yeah, Nice is right
south
there.
Of France?
Nice is right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen I've never been, but I've seen pictures, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so excited to see. I've been doing a lot of training, because last year I was like, all right, kind of got the feeling of what it's like to play in a tournament like that. And man, ever since I came back, like in July, I've been.
So when did you find out you made the team?
I think I found out like around February this year.
So February to June. So you only had a few months to really prep.
Yeah. So we played the San Francisco League in March. So from March to about May was the tournament. Was our league.
So you were already conditioned then?
So the 7 of us who were in San Rafael, who were going to Barcelona, the 7 of us played on the city league to just get used to each other. And the challenge was having guys from other areas who we never met before. Had to meet the day before the tournament. We met. The tournament was on a Saturday. We met that Friday and had one practice. We realized that we had a guy. He's in our installations office in Boston. Okay, like D3 college. We're like, all right, this is the guy. How are we? So we had less than 24 hours to figure out. All right, this is our main guy who we have to give the ball to at crucial times. The young guy, like 25, 26, got the fresh legs. He definitely was the guy that was gonna get us to as far as we could. We had to, the rest of us had to support, be there for the passing, all the soccer stuff. But it's just a great experience, man. Like that's again another huge benefit that we had. That was fortunate that
So
something like that.
So how do you prepare for this World Cup? Do you know the level of competition?
Myself, I didn't. Two of the guys that are on my team, they were on the main USA team that had gone a couple of years prior, and they said like every year it just gets more and more competitive because more people are getting funding
Now,
to go.
Before we keep going, how many employees does Autodesk have?
If I had to guess right now, I'm probably guessing somewhere around close to 2,500. My guess worldwide.
Okay.
Worldwide.
And 24 teams, that's a big chunk of people that are, or a big percentage of their overall employees.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, let's say, 15 players to a team. So you're talking about close to 300 players. And then you're talking about friends and family that went out.
Yeah. I mean, they have what would that be? Like 12, 13%?
I think, yeah. Yeah. I think we had close to 1,000 people that.
And people are fully funded to go to this tournament.
The players. Just the players, not the friends and family, just the players. And by fully funded, we had the plane ticket and 2 nights at hotel. So
that's pretty sweet.
It's still pretty sweet, man. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie, like having a hotel in a city like Barcelona and just doing the tour. Like I was there for a week, so the other week I had to find another way to make that happen. But it was just a great experience.
Do you explore Spain a lot?
Barcelona for the most part. I did have to work a couple of days. So I got to it was cool. I got to do like the kind of like how people I hear do BART like at 8 a.m. What's BART like? I did like their train system at 8 a.m. So it was kind of cool just to like kind of see. It's almost like Muni in San Francisco where it's that street level train, and you just hop on the train and you just like everybody else. Everyone's going to work. Everyone has a job to do, and you go to this beautiful location. Office is literally walking distance to the beach. So great location too in that building. Friendly people from all over Europe that actually worked in that office. So it was a great experience.
Yeah. So I've been told in Spain, people tend to get up at 11 o'clock at night and by around midnight, they go out for a midnight stroll and they take their kids, whether, the kid is an infant or 5, 6 years old.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Do you see that?
I saw definitely families just out and about. The one thing that someone told me right before I got there was because it's summer had just started. This is like early June. A lot of people in Barcelona were gonna leave for the summer because that's tourist time. So people from the UK and all over the other countries, particularly US and Australia, they said US and Australians love visiting Barcelona.
Barcelona weather is very similar to ours in the Bay Area, right? Or was it?
It's humid. I would say it's more like Florida weather.
Okay.
It was pretty humid. I think when we played that tournament, it was about 85 degrees with humidity. And then we trained in Madrid for a day. Madrid is hot. I'm talking about like 95, 96 degrees. And it was cool because we took the bullet train from Barcelona like at 8 a.m. and we got to Madrid like around noon. And we just did a whole like 9 hours of exploring Madrid. So couldn't get too far out. But we basically took a tour bus that just took you to all the tourist attractions. Madrid was beautiful.
The trains over in Europe though are like dialed in.
Yes.
I wish they did that with BART.
Amtrak.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah, they're definitely advanced. I heard Japan, the train system's amazing too. Yeah.
And cheap too.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to I think the bullet train in Madrid was about 3.5 hours long. It was a bullet train. I think the normal speed train about 5 hours, but they feed you, they give you breakfast. They give you like a full like eggs and ham and just like full breakfast, coffee, very friendly staff, and people can stop there at Madrid, and some people stayed on and they went all the way to Paris. So it's just like another way of transportation for your touring.
Yep.
So it was a great experience. Hopefully I get to do it again next year.
And so south of France, Same number of teams, or you think there's going to be more teams?
Rumor has it that they're gonna add a women's tournament because there were some teams that were co-ed, and it was great to see. Just females and just anybody who wanted to play, who had the ability and desire to play. But I think they want to try to add a women's tournament along with it. So I think they're going to try for 8 teams. That'd be great. Like that'd be great to kind of break it up because it's for some teams who are probably co-ed. Not to be mean, but there's some physical disadvantages if you're a co-ed team. I'll leave it there. But at the same time, we played against a team that had like 3 women, and I could have easily shoulder checked this girl, and I'm like, I can't do it. My wife's watching. She's right there. I can't shoulder check her.
Did Jasmine go?
She went. She went actually 5 months pregnant. She went. She killed it. She was a trooper. She did all the. I mean, when I was working, she was out and about because she's been to Barcelona before.
So she was exploring.
She was exploring. She had been before. So when I was at work and all day, she was out and about, just shopping and just exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now your baby's due in 3 weeks.
Baby's due in 3 weeks, but at this point,
This is your first kid.
it's our first kid. It's a daughter. Excited. She can come anytime. Literally, like my phone's right here, just in case we had the first podcast
Yeah.
live from Kaiser's delivery room. It's a Mark Guzman experience. So you never know, but everything's cool. She's just resting now. She's on her break at work, so she's just relaxing.
You must be nervous.
I'm really excited. I'm not gonna lie, saying that I'm not
Well,
nervous, but
I'm sure
really,
it's exciting.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the unknown. Like everyone can say, "Oh, parenthood."
Well, this is your first kid.
Yeah, parenthood's like this. Kids are like this. Until I think you experience it yourself, almost like when you're in a relationship or you get married or anything like any new experience. It's different for everybody, for one, and then just 2, unless you do it yourself, you don't really fully know what it's like. And luckily, we got a great support system. Both her parents are out here locally. My mom's out in the Fairfield area, so we got the family support system that will help a lot.
What are you doing to like prep to be like a good dad?
A good dad.
And I know being a good dad is subjective. Everyone's got their
Sure,
opinion
sure.
of what a good dad means, but like in your opinion, like what's a good dad, and what are you doing to prep for it?
Man, you got me, man. As you know, a little over a year ago, I lost my dad. He was just, I won't say he was a perfect father, but he was perfect for me. And I just want to take those lessons he gave me as a kid. I was his only son, so it was a little different. Boy, having a son, or I have 3 sisters, so I got to sometimes see how he was with my sisters. But I really just want to take the things that I love most about my dad, and he and I had very different personalities. He was more, you met him. He's
Yep.
like
He was a crack up.
Yeah, he's a crack up, the party guy. Like he loved kind of intermingling. I'm definitely more of an introvert for the most part, but I just really want to just take the lessons from a son or as a child that he gave, like that I learned from him. His parenting, even the things I didn't like, the things I probably didn't agree with, all those lessons you should learn from. And I want to take the things that all the lessons I learned from my dad and try to give to my daughter.
What was one of the most important or memorable lessons he taught you?
Loyalty? Definitely loyalty. He used to say all the time, like, your family, your friends, like the people who care about you. Like if you don't know by now who cares more about you, then you should look he told me, like, if you don't know by now who cares most about you, you need to kind of look yourself in the mirror and figure out, a little bit more about yourself. And, there was never ever a doubt, like, my family's got my back. You're my guy. Our boy Tony's my guy. Like, I got a small amount of friends, but there's a reason why. Like the people that like, you're down with.
Yeah.
And he always told me, like, you should know who are the people that care most about you. And, whether we have more than one child or just this one, next kid, whatever, I want her to know that not just her dad, but her whole family will always have her back.
Are you and Jasmine going to have more than one kid?
who knows, man? If you were to ask her right now, she's like, "This is it," because she's she's in a lot of
She's
pain.
done with the
Man,
pregnancy, right?
with the the feet swelling, the knees, the hips.
Yeah.
Castillo babies are we're built. It's not gonna be a little kid. I think.
Do you know how big the baby is right
when
now?
we last did the hospital check, I think the baby was already at 6.5. I would not doubt that this kid's close to 8 already. And I was a 9-pound baby. So
Oh my
it's a
god.
load. It's a load that she's carrying. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm really just excited to become a dad. Like it's not for everybody, nor should be. If you were even asked me 2-3 years ago, I wasn't sure. I would have said, "Oh yeah, kids are cool, but do I really want one?" And then I just think as you go through life, as I got married 2.5 years ago, as you just kind of go through that experience, we definitely talked about it, pros and cons of being a parent, some of the things that we can do, we won't be able to do as much, but this experience has been great, and I just can't wait, man. Like it's gonna be cool. Uncle
Yeah.
Mark coming through.
What's that?
Uncle Mark's gonna be coming through. Theo Mark ass.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to talk to Kim because we're gonna have to figure out a way to find out how you guys like raise your kid and then spoil the heck out of them. Just make your guys' lives miserable.
Afterwards, I'll show you that we just had our shower this weekend. Literally, the living room where I've been doing like my exercise and my yoga and all that. I'm trying to get back in. Like,
You're doing yoga now?
Yeah, man. Soccer's been helping so much, or the yoga's been helping so much with my soccer. Like just the flexibility wise, you play as a kid. I mean, even as you get to adult ages, like we're less flexible. The flexibility has helped. It's like the living room that we kind of have just by itself. We hardly ever go. I've been doing yoga and just kind of doing like little workouts in the evening. It's full of just bags and boxes of
Just
the
gifts.
stroll. We got 2 strollers. We got car seats. We have a car seat for each car, so we got that going for us. So just like that life adjustment's been cool to deal with. Like I'm just excited, man. Like, yeah.
I'm happy for you.
I know you, man. I know you are. Like this is my guy. This is my guy right here, man. This is my guy.
Now I know one thing that we've also talked about is possibly selling your house.
Yeah.
And also helping you guys purchase another property.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think I'm going to take this a little bit of an interesting way. I don't want you to pitch me at all. Okay. But I want to ask you a few questions because you're about to go through this experience of selling and buying. And I really want to get your opinion on what you want to look for in an agent. Like, what's something that's important to you as like a real estate agent? I mean, seriously, like if you don't hire me and you hire someone else, right?
Yeah.
Imagine I didn't sell houses and I just did
right.
property management, right? And I can't help you guys. What's something you're going to look for?
Well, at this point, with now the lifestyle change that my wife and I are going through, are the things that we wanted probably in the beginning. I'll say have changed, but there's it's altered. Now, 2 things I already know my wife's already talked about because we've talked about it, her and I. School district is probably at this point the top of her list. My wife's an educator, so education is a huge thing for her, as it should be. School district is a huge factor for her. She knows the public school system at some parts of the Bay Area, not as good, some better. So choosing a home that's within a top level school district, I know is a huge thing, a part of her list. And I can't imagine that's easy to just find something that quick from an agent's perspective. But that I would definitely think that an agent's gonna have to be very patient with us.
It definitely depends on what school district and
Sure.
what school you're looking for.
Sure, yeah, because obviously if something's within an amazing school district, probably not a lot available. And there's a reason why these schools, these people don't leave these areas because it's high level school district, probably great freeway locations, the Bay Area is obviously everything, as you know. But our as far as our agent wise, let's say it wasn't you or whoever, patience can have to be a huge thing because her and I are adjusting our life. We're going through a huge, probably the biggest life adjustment a couple can go through, which is their first child. And so we don't know 100%, like, all right, well, do we want a house now? She's not going to be in school for 5 years. We want to wait. What's our budget? We don't know what, people say, oh, kids cost this, kids cost that, but we don't know. Like, so there's going to be a patience that we would need from an agent because our budget.
I think it's $100,000 a year.
That's just in diapers.
Yeah.
So, a lot of those things are going to weigh heavily. My wife and I, our budget could be one thing now. This kid's 3 months. Oh, our budget can be this. Our budget can be that. So, for her and I, it's going to be a lot of talking. One thing I love most about her is that our communications is so well. We communicate so great. She knows, for the most part, what we are. For the most part, and she's kind of told you where our budget is. This was prior to a baby. If we're, we handle everything right, we still have a pretty good idea of where we're at budget wise. So, but things could change. I mean, this is such a lifestyle change.
So you would want an agent that really looks at your lifestyle at the moment, who sees the transitions that you guys are
Sure.
going through,
Yeah.
and then really focus on that.
Yeah, definitely. So the patience, the school district. I think my wife definitely has. She grew up in a house her whole life, one house. I didn't. I grew up 7 different homes. So I'm not attached to a home. She wants to give. There's our daughter, multiple children. She wants to give our child that sense of this is your home for the rest of your life. Like, this is gonna be the home. And when you grow up, this is the home you're gonna, mom and dad live. It's gonna be the home that one day when you have kids, you can take your kids to this home. That's something that she wants for her kid, because she now has that. She can take this daughter to her mom's house and say, "This is where mommy grew up." And I want to give that to my child. Like, unfortunately, didn't have that in my life, so I want that, like, that home. Just don't want a house, I want a home. It kind of sounds cliche, and I'm sure you probably have heard that in your line of work, but we really want that one home that's gonna be it. Like, that's really, really important for us, is that this is the one home. This is it. We're not leaving it.
Yeah.
So retire and we go to Vegas or at 60.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, and right now, more and more people are staying in their houses. Before, you would have people selling and buying every 5 or 6 years. Now, the average is about 14 years.
Why is that, you think?
There's a lot of reasons why. Part of it is the baby boomers that are now deciding to stay in their houses much longer. So that increases the averages, because it's all average, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you have baby boomers that are staying in their properties longer. You have a lot of the millennials that are basically living at home with their parents and
Yeah.
saving up money. And, and also it depends on the area though, but prices are pretty high. I mean,
Yeah.
look at how the prices are now, like even nationwide compared to 2006, right before the market crashed.
Yeah.
And in some areas, we're back to those same prices. In other areas, we're 80-90% there.
Yeah.
So it's really
Wow.
expensive right now
Yeah.
across the board to really live anywhere. So you see a lot of those different trends. You see some people favoring renting over actually buying a house.
Got it.
I'm a huge, and this is really weird for a realtor to say, but I'm a huge advocate that for your own personal residence, you should rent, for the most part, because most people will move from house to house every, 4 or 5 years when they're younger,
Yeah.
until they eventually find that dream house. And then it's like, okay, fine. If you're going to buy a house and it's your dream house, you plan to live in it forever, no problem, buy it, because then you can modify it, do what you want to do to the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to move eventually, something like that, if you can buy a house, buy an investment property, and live in a duplex, live in a fourplex, it offsets your costs, and Anyway, I had David Pio. I think you met him one time.
I met him a couple of times. I know he was on your podcast. I haven't heard that one yet, but I know you had him on.
Yeah.
I saw you had him on.
Yeah, and anyway, we got into that whole topic and discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
My wife and I have actually discussed that. Can we rent where we're living at now? Can we rent and use that income to buy?
Yeah, Trulia came out.
It's an option. It's an option.
Yeah, Trulia came out with a very interesting statistic just a couple weeks ago that home values are outpacing rental values. So I find it funny, like a lot of real estate agents love to sell you on, hey, it's a great time to sell. And then they'll turn around and tell someone it's a great time to buy. Well, wait a minute. It can't be a great time to buy if it's a great time to sell. It's one or the other, right? Someone's making the money. Right. And it goes in trends. But that's like the cliche realtor, like time to buy, time to sell. Well, that's not always the case. And especially right now in most neighborhoods, okay, I don't want anyone.
In the Bay Area or just in the country?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have neighborhoods that are really expensive, not a lot of rentals, and you're going to have to buy, right, if you want to live there, right? And so it varies on every different neighborhood, different states, different, markets. The Bay Area, we're a bubble within California. Yeah. California's a bubble within the entire United States. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends. But for the most part, renting makes sense because you're going to pay less money. You don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to pay repairs. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to move to another place, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. We've discussed. I think my wife and I discussed it with you.
Yeah, I might have told you guys to just rent it.
Yeah, and she, honestly, when you told her that, I remember coming back home later that evening, whatever, when we discussed it, she was like, that actually makes sense. Can we make this happen? So again, this is another thing from our realtor. Give us as many options as we can. So again, I think a lot of.
In fact, if I were you guys, I would probably sell the house that you're in right now.
Okay.
Go rent a house, and then use the equity to buy an investment property, buy a triplex or fourplex. Now, all of a sudden, the income you're making off that pays for your rental. Now you're living without any housing expense.
All right, I'm going to play that back to my wife when I get home. I'm like, when this comes out, I'll be like, baby, see what Mark said at the 40-minute mark? Boom, right there. All that. We'll talk about it.
We're at the 43-minute mark. That was a good guess.
Only because I can tell because this beer is like.
Okay, so we got to talk about the beer real quick, though. So we're drinking a Shortys Revenge.
Yeah.
EJ Fair Brewing Company.
Yeah.
I like this beer. What do you think?
I'm almost done.
It's my favorite beer at EJ Fairs.
Yeah.
The bar in Conky, whenever I go.
Yeah, I'm walking distance from that bar, so yeah, it's always packed on Fridays and Saturdays.
Great food, great beer.
Yeah, it's chill.
I love all the beer companies that are popping up. I think it seems like ever since, and I could be completely wrong, and this is just my sense, but it seems like ever since Lagunitas started to really explode, you've been seeing a lot of smaller brewing companies begin to explode too.
Want to hear something funny?
Sure.
On my flight from Barcelona this summer, go from SFO, went to Newark, New Jersey as our layover. From Newark to Barcelona, one of the drinks options, Lagunitas. This is from Newark.
They're everywhere now.
This is from Newark to Barcelona. That was an option. And a couple people were like, oh, what's this? What's this? And I was like, perched up in my seat. And I said, oh, Lagunitas. It's a Bay Area, Northern California.
They have those on some Southwest flights now.
Yeah, we were on, I think we were on United. I believe we were on United going.
Went up to the Lagunitas Brewery up in, based on the...
Roner Park,
Petaluma. It's Petaluma.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mark, have we done?
Yes, we did it. Remember, we did it with Jonah.
Do you remember it?
I remember. Yeah, yeah, we did it with Jonah and Tony.
Yeah, that's our guy.
And
Tony's our other guy.
We went to the beer circus that they have there every year,
fest.
And that was I actually really enjoyed that beer
cool.
circus because I think the tickets were $20-$25.
Little cup.
You get a souvenir cup.
Yeah.
You get 3 drink tickets, and then like each beer was like $4 or $5 to fill up
Yeah.
to like 18, 20 ounces. Like it was ridiculously
Yeah.
cheap.
It's a
And
hot night in the
and it's
summer,
not just
hot day in the
Lagunitas
summer.
because they have a ton of other beer companies that show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have live music, and it was a good time. And that's and we went because Tony, who was a head accountant at the time,
Yeah.
invited us.
Yeah. It's like it was like a work event for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to like have his buddies come over. Yeah.
I know Tony's got a great job now because now he's a CFO of a
He is
huge
happy.
$300 million
I
company.
just saw him, man. He is happy as hell.
Yeah, he's super happy and everything. But now he's not a beer drinker, but he would get a case of beer per
And
week.
who do you think got it? The roommates.
Yeah, we did.
Nah, so like we were saying, the Lagunitas really it just exploded, and a lot of other breweries I think just started benefiting from that.
And ever since Heineken bought him, but it's not Heineken. What's the name of it?
No, it was Heineken.
Heineken?
Yeah, Heineken bought 'em.
Okay.
This is like early spring.
They bought them. They bought like 50% of their company,
Yeah,
and then they just finished buying them out. Correct?
you may know that better than me. I don't know if that acquisition is complete, but I remember when it first.
It might
happened.
not be complete, but I think they announced they were going to sell the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The owner did off well. The owner and a few people
Of
that
Lagunitas?
started Lagunitas.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder what's
Because Heineken bought it for $500 million.
and coming
50%.
and you were in Europe this year. I was in Europe this year. Heineken is. I didn't realize how huge Heineken is all over Europe. You were in Portugal. I was in Spain. Heineken was everywhere. It's huge. So from them to make that acquisition, that's pretty big. I wonder what they're gonna do with. Do you think they'll keep the Lagunitas brand?
They have to. I think that adds the whole appeal of it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna pull in Alaskan Airlines because Alaskan Airlines, they bought Virgin and they're gonna destroy the whole brand.
They're killing Virgin.
That's
yeah.
stupid. Yeah.
Did I say kill a Virgin? My bad.
people fly Virgin and pay extra because of the planes and how neat they look and the on-flight entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should keep the brand. I mean, Lagunitas. Well, I can only speak for us because we're out here, but it's huge. Like it's a brand.
Yeah. No, I love like all their different beers, and each beer that they make has a different story.
Yeah, a little some and all that.
Yeah. In fact, so when I was looking at this beer here over at, I went to Bevmo, and I was talking to Robert, and we're looking at different beers, and we started talking about their Undercover. Remember that beer?
Oh yeah.
It's a really good beer. And so he says, "Do you know the story behind Undercover?" I'm like, "No." So he starts telling me the story. And apparently at some point, Lagunitas went under an investigation for selling marijuana to employees and to guests that were going through their
I believe it.
through their
I believe
tours.
it. Yeah, I believe it.
And so
we were there. I believe it.
So an FBI agent, went in to investigate, and he just couldn't catch anyone. And so I guess he was able to tie in with a few employees, went to a Lagunitas party.
Okay.
And so he starts going around asking if he can buy weed off people. And I guess a lot of the employees were like, "This is really weird."
Who's
Like,
this narc?
who is this guy? Like, he keeps asking them to buy weed. And it's like, we're not trying to sell weed here. And
Excuse me, do you have weed?
Yeah, exactly. No, he would say, "Do you have weed for sale?"
And if you do, talking to my chest.
Yeah. And so I guess somebody said, "Well, I'm not going to sell you, but here I have some. You can have some. But don't pay me anything because it's free." And I guess that was enough to get him into trouble. And
The FBI agent?
yeah. So as soon as the employee gave him weed, then that's where they went in, and I guess they temporarily shut it down or something like that. And after, that's how they came up with Undercover, because the FBI agent was undercover.
Interesting.
Yeah. So all their beers they have very interesting backstories. Now, I don't know how real the backstories are. I'd have to really, but they're great backstories.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess at some point they had a beer that was, check this out, 18% alcohol.
Yeah.
Like 18%. Sam's over here laughing because
what is the name?
he's drinking a triple IPA.
Oh, yeah. yeah,
That's-
this is 11%.
Well, he had to stop.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, shit, I'm driving."
Yeah, I gotta drive home after this. Like, if it was at home, oh yeah, we're good to go. But
Yeah, imagine that 18% beer.
18%.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
don't think I've had anything over 13. A beer.
Yeah,
I think I've had it over 13. Yeah. 18.
yeah, 18%, and
so
t-
irresponsible.
yeah, and Tony
You
said
can't
they
say
were
that
going to
with
bring
a
it
straight
back.
face.
Nah,
Yeah, Tony had told me at the time they were going to bring it back because like they make very small batches and just sells out quick.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like a kind of like a collector's item. Like as soon as they launch it, like people just jump on it.
I would too.
Yeah,
I think Sam's about to also.
yeah. So what's your typical go-to beer?
Man, it depends. Like father-in-law, you met him, proud San Francisco, born and bred boy. He will not stop with Anchorstein, San Francisco brew, and I try to get him to drink other stuff, and he's kind of like, yes. Or Saturday at the baby shower, I didn't think he was actually gonna come, and he showed up with 12-pack of Angry Orchard. And it's they call it a hard cider. And I've heard of it. I never had one. And he shows up with the Angry Orchard, and I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Angry Orchard." I kind of look at it as like, "What is this, Zima? Like, what is this?"
Those are surprisingly good.
It's actually surprisingly good. But generally, I like stouts. Generally, my go-to, or an IPA. Actually, Tony's the reason why I hopped on the IPA. Like, it's got that little bitterness. Like the triple IPA could be a little bitter. Double, you say you like. Overall, I would say an IPA is my go-to, but lately I've been drinking stouts.
Stouts.
Yeah.
You know, Kim has never drank beer, but she loves stouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's been drinking, there's two of them. There's a chocolate stout that literally tastes like chocolate.
I never had that.
It's very interesting. And then there's one that's forget the maker of it, but it's peanut butter flavored.
What?
Yeah, it's
I just had one of peanut butter stout a couple weeks ago. I forget where it was from, but it was.
it's yeah. I felt the same way. Like I was
Wow.
really unsure about it, but I think the more you now I don't know if this is alcohol, but the more you drink it, the better it gets.
Well, that's fair.
And by the way, we're saying this as we're about 1/16 left of
Yeah.
our Shortys Revenge, so we're pretty deep in this one. What was this?
Now you said you have a buddy that
Whole
brought you
pint.
beer, right?
Uh,
He makes beer.
It's my wife's one of her closest friends. You met Jessica from the wedding.
Yep.
She was one of the bridesmaids. Her husband, he, it's the bridal shower, and actually, they're gonna be parents.
Oh,
Jessica and
nice.
Jeremy. So they're gonna be parents, and I think they're doing February. So he's in the law enforcement game, and he made some beer. That was like his gift to me, as it's kind of like a baby shower. Well, I'm gonna make Dad a beer for his gift, and he gave me a stout and he gave me an IPA. Still in the fridge. I'm waiting for it, right occasion, because I think he had heard me mention that I'm into stouts and IPAs. So luckily, that's what he made in his garage. So I can't wait to have it. It's about, what is this, 6? It's a whole pint. I think he made 2 pints,
Okay.
one each. So it's about the same size. Yeah.
Nice. I've thought about getting into making my own brew at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the thing to do
It is
these
the thing to
days.
do.
Because with all these different brewing companies popping up, it definitely makes, and especially if you're a beer lover, it definitely makes you think, oh, well, what if I make my own beer? How fun that would be.
It's personal.
But here's the problem. I looked at the kits and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of waiting and, unfortunately,
Do you remember?
I don't have that patience.
Do you remember Rob from my bachelor party?
Yep.
Okay, we're hold there. You know we're gonna talk about the bachelor party. You know what we're gonna talk about. But he makes beer at his garage. You're laughing at. Now you know what I'm talking about. All right, Sam. Bachelor party. My bachelor party. So almost 3 years ago now. In Tahoe, just want to kick it. About 8 of us, just kind of kicking in the Tahoe
Yeah,
cabin.
this is 8 or 9 of us.
8 or 9 of us in the Tahoe cabin. My boy Rob comes through. Do shots. All right. Jorge, you're the bachelor. I'm all in. Do the shots of vodka. Not a huge vodka guy, but whatever. I'm doing it. Vodka's clear, right? So I'm drinking
As
shots
a group, we took about 8. We did 8 rounds of shots
of
of
best man
of water.
water, Sam. So
Except
as
there
we're
there was
supposed to-
one person who was not drinking water.
and that was me. So Sam, as we're doing shots together as a crew at my bachelor party, the rest of the guys are drinking water shots. Because I remember there was a point where Tony was like, dude, I've never seen you do this many shots before. And it's like still early. We haven't even gone out yet. It's like 9 o'clock. He's like, yo, are you all right?
No, it was even earlier than that. It was like 4 because you ended up needing to take a
I
nap.
take a nap. Because all the guys like, yeah, we're going to do this and that. And I'm like 7, 8 shots. And again, I'm not a huge vodka guy. And all these motherfuckers are doing water shots. And I remember waking up and right before we go out, and I'm just feeling it. And all you guys are like, yeah, let's go out. I'm like, why am I the only one dead? Like, I thought we are doing them all together. And it looked like we were doing all together. So yeah, Rob, a fuckface, he did he does beer at his garage too.
Okay.
His IPAs, I'm not gonna actually lie. His IPAs are actually on point. They're pretty good. Yeah. So I had to give him props, but I fucking hate him and all y'all for that stunt at my bachelor party, making me drink vodka, y'all drinking water.
It was a good time though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's memories. Got to make memories, right?
Man. It's all about memories,
And
man.
stories. That's all.
It's all about the stories.
That's
So
what life's about, right?
You know, that's the only one y'all get. That's the only one y'all get.
Are you gonna try and make your own beer?
No, probably not. I'll probably screw it up. I'll let those who know how to do it right, and I'll just be the beneficiary of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, it's expensive. It takes a shitload of time.
It does. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, the time. This is obviously not the right time for me. So
Yeah.
maybe down the road, but I can't see in the near future.
Okay.
I'll just drink it.
Well, I think we're gonna cut it off there, and I just want to say congratulations again to you and Jasmine on
Much
the
love, man.
upcoming baby. Like literally 3 weeks away. So
Yeah, it could be sooner at this point. Like doctor said, the baby can be born full health 36 weeks on. We're at 37. So we're good, man.
yeah.
Like,
Congratulations and
yeah.
good luck on the Disney World trip. Too bad they're not gonna have Star Wars Land there yet.
No, but Pandora Land's already there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from the Avatar.
Yep.
So I'm in there.
You have to go back when Star Wars Land opens up.
That's next year. This fall, next year.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations, and thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Hey,
I know
anytime.
you're a
Anytime.
big supporter of the podcast and constantly sharing.
Well, I'm a big supporter of you. You're my guy. You always will be my guy. So
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
And good
So
luck,
for all
man.
the listeners, definitely like, share, comment on the podcast. Would appreciate any feedback, and thank you, Jorge, for joining me.
Anytime, man. Always.
I saw on your LinkedIn page you worked at the Dugout store for a while, right?
I did work for the Giants.
What was that? I worked at the Walnut Creek one for a couple years.
You know what?
What
My
was that
wife.
experience like for you? I'm curious.
That was actually a pretty cool time because it was the year after the O2 World Series.
Oh, okay.
So there was so much hype. Hey, man, we should have gone into this. Like,
Which
why
store-
did the
which-
Giants fucking suck
store
right
were
now?
you
I
at?
have like an hour of it. The dugout.
You want to talk about it real quick?
the stadium?
Oh,
Back
talk
on?
about it real quick.
We
Yeah,
back on?
I never stopped. We're back live.
Okay.
We're back live. Okay.
We're Giants fans, and we got to figure this out. Why
Okay.
do they suck?
Giants, they suck. Now, the only game I actually attended this whole year
The A's game.
was,
In
they were
Oakland,
playing
right?
against the A's at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
And this was, let's see, Battle of the Bay. This was maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
It was
sounds
August 3rd, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess
yeah,
they,
no, it was,
oh, yeah,
in
you
late
went to
July,
it
'cause I was
too.
at that same game.
Yeah. They won 10-4.
10-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the highlight of the season being seeing the Giants win at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
See a win.
So, I know you're a big sports fan.
Huge.
So talk about the Giants. What's their problem and how can they fix it?
The main problem, pitching, starts with one. Bumgarner got that idiotic injury, doing like his moped or whatever he was doing. The
How long
sand.
On
did it
the-
take you to like stop being mad at him about that, or are you not there
Well,
yet?
No, I'm not even mad.
That was on the dirt bike, right?
Yeah, I'm not even mad at him, but he is he is the backbone of that pitching staff. So if he goes down, it's the trickle down effect. He goes down, they go down. Cueto, I fully believe he is injured right now. I believe he was injured all season because he came back for that World Series, the World Baseball Classic, and you can tell. I watched that game with the DR was playing. I could tell he was not right, and I'm like, this is an injury. This is an injury waiting to happen. He was never healthy. He was the second best pitcher on the team. At some point last year, he was our best pitcher at sometimes. So when your pitching's bad, you're gonna be bad because they do not. The Giants have never had a big lineup guy. When Bonds retired, they've never had a home run hitting team ever. Buster's a gap hitter, singles hitter for average. There's someone I follow on Twitter. She's a Brendan Belt lover, and I was like, Brendan Belt, he's all right. Kind of the Jay-Z line. He's all right, but he's not real. Brendan Belt's a decent player. But
any time he's about to kind of break off,
he gets injured.
He gets injured,
and then
so it's not all his fault.
It's not all one person's fault. Then you got that. So you got a first baseman, first base is a power position in the offense. The first baseman should be your first or second best hitter on the team. He is, in some regard, probably the fourth or fifth best hitter on that team. Last year, he was about that. Hunter Pence looks like, I love the guys as a guy.
He has been the same.
As a guy, he's as great as a guy as you can get. But on the field, he's breaking down.
He had the oblique injury in 15. He
yeah,
has been the
same. And he's breaking down. Like, he's only like 32, but he looks 42 out there.
Yeah.
So you got your most prominent athlete in the outfield. Just broken. Yeah. So they invested a lot of money and years into guys in their kind of early to mid 30s. All right, one more year. There's not much left in the tank. So I think the trade deadline, they only traded Nunez, really. Didn't get much.
And of course, Nunez then took off.
He takes off for the Red Sox.
So I was like, great. So I'm glad we undersold on him.
Yeah. So, but to answer your question, why do they suck this year? The main reason why their pitching's awful. Like, awful. Matt Cain, love the guy. I met him about 10, 11 years ago when he was a minor league prospect. Great guy. He has nothing left. He was the highest paid player at one point on the entire team. That huge deal. Not much left.
Well, wasn't there a whole World Series where he didn't even play?
That's 2014. 2014.
Yeah.
He didn't play. He didn't even pitch.
Yeah.
So
he had the bone spur.
He had the bone spur.
What the injuries have done to this team over the years.
Yeah, it's just caught up to them. Like they got
really
three. They got 3 World Series in that run. Never forget it. We watched, I think, one of those World Series. Like we watched some games, together in the playoff runs they made. They got to regroup this team, get younger. They're slow. They got slow, old dudes out there. They got to get more athletic. Like, baseball's become an athletic sport because it's hard to hit home runs. Home runs are hard to come by unless you're like the dude from the Yankees, Judge, and Giancarlo. For the most part, you got to have like really all-around athletes, like guys who can stay healthy.
So do you think maybe them winning the 3 World Series like every other year like hurt their ego to the point where they said, okay, we've kind of figured out a winning team, and then didn't really make a lot of major changes at that point?
They totally got stagnant. Like, look at the Warriors. They lose the finals in 2016. You got to get better. What's the expression in business or anything? If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Well, part of the Warriors too, and there was a very interesting article on this, is that part ownership is I don't know their names, but they're venture capitalists.
It's Joe Lacob. He's a venture capitalist. Yeah. He owns the home on the 18th hole at Pebble Beach. That's his house. The famous house. You know what I'm talking about? The famous house. Yeah. That's his.
Wow.
And the other owner, he's a Hollywood bigwig. Like, he has like 8 Oscars or something like that. Like, so these guys, they know their stuff. They lost the finals in 2016. They said, we got to get better. Kevin Durant's a free agent. Let's get him. They did it. You got to get better. Giants bring the same team back every year. It's Crawford, it's Panic, it's Belt, it's Bumgarner, it's Pence, it's Posey. Posey is the only guy right now who you would still keep on this. Best record in the Dodgers. Name one guy in the Giants, other than Buster Posey, who can start on that Dodger team. Not one.
Yeah, probably.
Buster, that's it. It's just Buster. Outfield's better. So the Dodgers, they when the Giants kept winning World Series, the Dodgers like, this is our rival.
Honestly,
We got to get better.
call
Got to
it
get better.
Call it homerism. I'd probably take Joe Panic over Chase Utley. Panic when he's healthy. And
When he's healthy.
I mean,
when
everything is
healthy.
When he's healthy. But
when
overall,
healthy.
Panic, I think, would be a better get than.
And I agree. I think Panic, but this has been a horrible year for him. Last year he got hurt. He didn't play a lot. I think he really had nothing left.
Last year.
Yeah, he had nothing in that playoff series against the Cubs. He had nothing left.
Well, ever say, yeah, he got clocked in the head by Matt Moore. He wasn't the same.
Yeah. So again,
when he's on, he's probably the best second baseman.
Yeah,
in the division.
I would say this year's almost been a wash for Panic. I actually would bring Panic back. Some people said he's probably their best trade bait. Probably is. I mean, but it's just an old, slow team. When you watch them, I'm just like, this is an old, slow team. Like, they're not fun to watch. Like, the team with, that we watched with Burl and Huff and Posey was a...
You know what? They could be fun if you drink a triple IPA.
Or it'll make you more pissed off, man. Make you more pissed off. But, like, those teams from the 2010, 2012, those were fun teams.
Yep.
Those guys, Pagan and Blanc, like, those guys have personality. They played hard. This team is old and slow. And some people would say maybe even too white. Some people have even said, like, a little too just, like, stiff. The Latin players, they bring the flavor. The African-American players, they got a little bit of, flavor. This team is stiff. So they got to rebuild. They got to rebuild this team. It hurts.
Okay.
It hurts, man. They suck. And the Niners, they're going to suck, but at least they're going to play hard. I think last year was, I've never seen this team that shit. I know Kim's a Raider fan, and the Raiders, and you're a Niner fan, so I know y'all probably had a good time watching. She probably had a good time watching the Raiders. I know she's not.
She loved it, and for the first time in so many years, she loved to put it in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because it was the first time Raider fans could put it anyway. Yeah. I'm a Raider fan too, and I'm tempering my expectations this year.
It really just
part of it's the Vegas move.
All right, so let's get into that.
I haven't decided how angry I am yet.
Let's get into that.
So I heard they sold out, and they had a lot of people from the Bay Area fly out to Vegas for a preseason game.
They played in Vegas?
No.
I thought they already played in Vegas.
No.
2 more years, right?
2, 3. Well, they're in the next 2 years.
For sure, in the
Year
Coliseum.
3 is up in the air. I've heard whispers that they could go to Levi's.
Yeah,
So where did they play? They played somewhere in Nevada.
No, you know what?
Was it Reno?
They may have did a practice there.
Yeah,
but I haven't been. I'm not a huge preseason guy, but I think because I know they play the Cowboys in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And they play the Rams in LA.
I honestly haven't been following it.
I'm not a huge preseason guy because
football, as I call it.
Huh?
It's fake football.
It totally is. Like I watched actually 10 minutes yesterday the Niner game. I was like, oh.
Do you remember when I was doing fantasy football day and night?
Here. Don't you do it here? With these guys?
No. Well, yeah, there were a few people from here at the office.
Right?
Yeah.
When I get my drafts on Wednesday, and I have no idea who's doing what. Don't have the time.
Yeah, but so many decisions made on preseason.
Sam, as a Raider fan, they're a playoff team, right? They have probably the most promising young quarterback in the league.
Oh yeah, but they also got a sieve for a defense.
Yeah,
I think honestly, Raiders 9 wins because of the defense. The defense is that as good as the offense is. The defense is that bad.
The Chiefs just lost their running back for the season. I don't know if you heard that. Where? Just tore his ACL. So their starting running back. They still
got Hunt, don't they?
They have Hunt.
They got Hunt and they got Jamal Charles, but
no, Charles is with Denver now.
That's right. They still have Charles on Denver.
Trust me, I'm on my fantasy.
That's true. No,
I'm like, oh, Jamal Charles, here we go. Let's do this.
Division. I mean, the Raiders play in a stacked division. So that doesn't help. But yeah,
Denver is okay.
Outside of Khalil Mack, there's just nothing worth hanging your hat on in this defense. They can't cover tight ends.
Yeah.
Worth a crap.
They're a 9-win. They're a wild card team for the most part. Still battle.
And Antonio Gates are 2 great, and Hunter Henry, 3 great tight ends they have to deal with.
Yeah. 6 times a year.
It's gonna be fun when they go to Mexico City. We'll see what Gronk does to them there.
We play the Patriots in Mexico City. Los Raiders.
Los Raiders.
And the Patriots in Mexico City.
And then they got to take on the Cowboys. They got to take on the Giants. I mean, dealing with the NFC East is going to be a pain.
Yeah. So they play the Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, luckily
that's a tough schedule.
And then AFC
that's a tough
East,
schedule.
Luckily, is
it's garbage. It's Patriots and everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, Dolphins might be an exciting first half.
They have Jay Cutler at quarterback.
Titans, honestly, I think we're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Starting off the year in Tennessee, Tennessee is going to be a very good team.
But they're in the hunt. They're around.
They'll be a wild card team, I think. At least they'll be a wild card team. I definitely think they could, 9-10 wins. I think they're going to get 9 wins just because I'm a pessimist. But I mean, they could still somehow maybe find, if they could beat the Chiefs, I think they can find a way to win the division. But it's hard to win when you have a defense that.
It's a bad defense.
I mean, it's an offense that can put up 40 points a game, and you're going to have to.
Derek Carr's legit, though, man. Derek Carr's legit.
42,
Amari Cooper, Crabtree, legit.
Oh, yeah, we have an incredible offense. We can get stops.
So, as a fan, they're moving to Vegas. That's 90% probably legit, right? It's going to happen.
Oh, no, it is 100% happening.
It's 100% happening. How do you feel?
I don't know. Again, I'm mad about it because, for 10 plus years, almost 14 years, you drag us through the mud with some of the most embarrassing football ever conceived. And then we finally get good, and this is how you do us in. For 14 years, we stayed by this franchise through some of the worst football in the history of the sport, not just the league.
They were terrible.
From the first time a football was
Aaron
created,
Brooks at QB, Kerry Collins at QB. They were terrible.
It's just and then we stay on board as loyal fans. I mean, the attendance figures notwithstanding.
Yeah.
And then they finally, we're finally back and going again. And you're saying, oh, well, the city of Oakland didn't want to give us money. Well, first off, why a $10 billion revenue a year organization needs public money to build stadiums?
There's a reason why.
I don't know.
You know the reason why. Mark Davis is going to sell.
Well, no, it's just...
He's going to sell. They're a brand. They're a brand. The Raiders are probably the second most... Probably even more than the Patriots. They're the second most famous team in the NFL.
The Raiders are a very global brand. So
other than the Cowboys, the second most famous team.
It's such a testament to the greed of the NFL. The NFL does not care about its fans. It cares about the money. That's why the NFL can't help teams build stadiums, because that's money out of the owner's pockets. So you got to go to the fans who... You got to go and fleece these cities on these stadium deals to build a stadium that most of the people who are voting aren't even going to see the inside of. Look at Levi's.
We're Niner fans.
Yeah. I mean, look at Levi's Stadium with how the complete failure that was Levi's Stadium. That is a failure in almost every single possible way that a stadium could be a failure.
We're Niner fans. When the Super Bowl happened 2 years ago, and I know a couple of people who, because Autodesk has offices in Denver. So we got some Bronco fans. They were inquiring about going, and they're like, "Oh, where's the stadium? It's not in the city. Well, where is it?"
There were a lot of people that flew in for that Super Bowl, and they said, "Wait a minute, it's not here?
Where's the stadium? Pass the airport and add 45 minutes to your commute."
Stadium is its own nightmare of disastrous.
$14 pupusas. I swear to God.
Wait, what?
$14 pupusas.
What?
You can literally buy them in Richmond, St. Paulo for $1.50.
Way better too.
No, it's the I haven't been to Levi's. I don't have.
I've been I've been 3 times.
The $10 vegan hot dogs. The fact that no one's there at kickoff. It's just. And if you could write a book on all the ways to blow your new stadium opening, and it would be pretty much just about Levi's.
The two main.
But you have great Wi-Fi.
The two biggest.
There's no one else there gumming up the
The two biggest problems with Levi's is that, one, it's next to Great America, which gives you a traffic hell.
Everyone bitches about traffic.
Yeah, and then the second part is. Okay, we're in August, and then we have like a heat wave going around. You know how hot it is.
Well, then, yeah.
That half stadium. That one guy died of heat stroke the first year because it's so hot. The weather in Santa Clara is so much warmer than San Francisco. But I thought the Super Bowl was probably the best part about Levi's because, one, the turf finally looked good for a change, and it looked good
comparatively.
and
Comparatively
luckily
to the
they
other
had a
stadiums, it was
and
awful.
and even though the Panthers played in that Super Bowl, but the Broncos were there, so luckily they had a team that would travel well to the Bay Area. Even though I don't even consider Santa Clara the Bay Area, but they had a team that would travel well. Can you imagine if it was the Patriots and
Well, Tom Brady's a South Bay
that
guy.
actually that's true. Okay,
He
He's
lived
from
in-
San Mateo.
yeah, can you imagine? I don't know, like just remember like the Chiefs or a team that would not travel to the Bay Area.
Buffalo. Well, I mean, Buffalo
But
in the
Denver
playoffs.
being right, Denver being a couple of states over was actually the benefit
Yeah.
because the Levi's actually looked pretty good for a change.
Well, one thing I always think is incredible is how, at the Coliseum, you got a grounds crew that has to, take grass on and off the field
Yeah.
the first month of the season.
You have the
And yet
sewers.
The turf.
They got the sewers
Well, no,
issues too.
they do a better job with the turf at the Coliseum, where you got to deal with putting a baseball field on and off it
Yeah,
the first month.
and they got to do the
And
dirt,
then
the
Levi's,
mound.
They can't figure out the grass because they built it on a spot that for some reason can't grow grass.
It can't
which
grow
you
grass.
think that's it. Just
Let's
again,
ask.
you
Let's
just go through the list of check things you want to make sure that you do to make sure your stadium doesn't suck. And if you were to look at the Levi Stadium, it would be a completely blank checklist.
and then
They didn't use AutoCAD.
and then to top it off, the Warriors are able to just waltz right in that parking lot right outside of AT&T and just say that's our spot.
Well, I'm
How
worried.
does that happen?
I'm worried. I mean, I feel like with the new Warriors Stadium at Chase Center, it can go one of two ways. You can have it be the next AT&T Park, where
It's the jewel.
everything is
It's
powdered,
the
it's
jewel.
perfect.
Yeah.
No matter how good or bad the team is, you have an amazing place. Or it could go the Levi's route, where it's completely overpriced. It's a miserable atmosphere. It's a corporate atmosphere, and everything just tumbles down. Now, Lake Hub is smart enough, and he's a guy who has a history of always getting what he wants.
Yeah.
To where I can feel comfortable thinking it's gonna be more AT&T Park, but at the same time,
He got Curry and
I think
Durant
the
on
same
that.
thing.
If you have Curry and Durant on that team, it will be the place to be.
But at the
It's going to
same
be
time,
the place to
You
be.
still don't want to price out the,
Sure,
the
sure.
fans that bring the atmosphere like the Niners
Sure.
did. And when you have a smaller capacity like Chase is going to have, coupled with the increase in ticket prices that are definitely going to come for a new stadium with the most valuable commodity in basketball being the Warriors, it sets up a kind of an uneasy situation, I think, if you're an average Joe not making billions of dollars fan who I haven't been to a game at Oracle in years because it's so expensive.
It's expensive, yeah.
And I don't want to have to mortgage half my life away.
Yeah.
Just go to a game at Oracle. I can't imagine what Chase Center is going to be like.
It's going to be crazy.
I mean, again, this could all just be panicking about nothing, and maybe when the stadium opens, the prices are fair and everyone lives
Upper deck will
happily
be
ever after.
fairly fair.
I mean, yeah, everyone could live happily ever after.
They're gonna sell to all the companies in the city. They're gonna sell to Facebook. They're gonna sell to all the big companies in the city. They're gonna buy all the suites, and they're gonna buy huge chunk of tickets and give them to their employees. That's who's gonna go to the games.
At the end of the day, Lake Up knows that one of the big advantages the Warriors have is that home court advantage.
Yeah.
And the noise that comes with it.
Yeah.
So I trust that Lake Up's gonna be smart enough to make sure that they don't screw that up. But at the same time, it's just until it happens, I mean, I'm a little uneasy, but like 5% uneasy.
I hear you though.
Enough to where it's like,
It could be
but
AT&T. It could be Levi's. More than likely, it's gonna be probably in between.
I think it'll be lean closer to the AT&T experience.
I think so. Just because you have Curry and Durant, they're must see TV. That was my Giants rant. That was my Barrier
Perfect.
Sports rant.
I'm gonna go watch the River Cats.
Let's go watch the Earthquakes. Earthquakes. They beat LA Galaxy last
I
night.
love their new stadium.
Dude, I haven't been. I've driven
Dude,
through. I saw your pictures.
That's legit.
Yeah.
It's legit. Like
yeah.
literally the seat in front of you, like from eye level, like it's at your waist.
Yeah.
Like there's no one blocking your view. Every seat, no matter how high you are, it's awesome view. It's
And
like
the world's largest outdoor bar.
yeah, and they have food truck that like multiple food trucks
Yeah.
that show up there, and yeah, it's pretty sweet.
And here's my soccer rant. It's where the United States fired Jurgen Klinsmann after they got embarrassed. They fired him. United States qualifying for the World Cup this weekend. Costa Rica on Friday night.
They're playing Friday night.
Yeah, in Jersey against Costa Rica. I'm excited.
What if Costa Rica beats them?
Then it's scary. if United States wins, they got a really good. They're
Didn't
looking,
Costa Rica make the World Cup last time?
yeah. United States, Costa Rica, Mexico always qualify, and usually it's usually Jamaica, Honduras, someone else will
Our
qualify.
poor country of El Salvador doesn't.
They never make it.
Last time they made it to the World
I
Cup,
think
they got beat like 11-0.
76, 74.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, that was the sports rant. That was the sports rant for the night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the podcast. I want to thank my guest, Jorge Castillo, for coming out. Congratulations to him on his upcoming baby. Best wishes out to him and his wife. Thank you to my producer, Sam Lubman, for doing an awesome job with these podcasts. Please go like and comment, share, subscribe to the podcast. iTunes, SoundCloud, and anywhere else you listen to a podcast.